I talked to Rosa, and basically what we decided was if she gets her hearing or ruling from the judge, she'll come on and do a post-mortem. So I was hoping that was going to be today. It didn't sound like it was today. So I don't know if when we'll get it in with the way the weather's going. As you can see over my shoulder, there's a bunch of snow out there. We have, I don't know, 5-6 inches of snow. Everything's really icy. It's like 15 degrees outside. And then we're expecting an ice storm. It's going to piss rain while being 26 degrees outside. So that's going to be awful. And that doesn't happen too often around here, but when it does, the trees get covered in ice, they explode, they knock down all the power lines, and then we go like weeks without any power. So who knows when you'll hear from me after Christmas? I have no idea. So, yeah, that's that little update. Monkey Butt, anything to add? No? All right. The title of the show today is Chill. Why? Because we got chill, baby. The DTCC, or the DTC, which subsidiary or the owner, whatever, DTC listed our beloved Acme, which I think I can actually say MMTLP now because the parent company has spun them off and are no longer associated. If I get a call from a lawyer, I'm going to say MMTLP and see if I get calls from a lawyer. If they, on the 8th, apparently, which coincides with the U3 order from FINRA, marked this stock as chill. And essentially that means trouble's afoot. We can't register these shares because the registration's full, and y'all fucked. That's, I think, kind of what it means. So TD Ameritrade, others are sending out, there's a chill order. We can't do anything. And so it's kind of giving them an excuse to say that, obviously it's out of our hands, and screw that. Robert Schaefer, what's more likely we get paid on Acme or AMC? Depending on how the court rules, Acme. If we get a favorable ruling, the judge grants the TRO from Rosa, I think it's very likely we get paid. The brokers just took out a $500 billion bond. So they're stockpiling cash right now. I don't know who's paying for that bond. They may have gone straight to the Fed and said, hey, Federal Reserve, we might be fucked on this. We need cash. Let's do a bond. And the Federal Reserve's like, all right, fine. But that means the $500 billion bond very likely pays us out at $1,000 a share for every single solitary synthetic share there is. Cool. Awesome. They may need more than that if this thing actually gets paid out. And I honestly can't say if it is or not. It's definitely something that's going to be up to the courts at this point, because the regulators, they investigated themselves. They found themselves innocent. It's going to have to be the courts looking at the specificities of the law and saying, it says to do this and you didn't do that. So you got to do this now before you can go and do that. You got to do this first. And that this first is going to be, you have to close all these positions. They're going to try and shove it off in the obligations warehouse, which is where FTDs go to die. And, you just can't do that. You cannot have a short position anywhere on a privately held stock. That's just against the law. So you can't shove it off in the obligations warehouse and think we're just going to forget about it and be like, oh, well, bygones be bygones. No, we are 64,000 really pissed off people. And I have no idea how many international investors there are. Already, international investors, I suggested contacting their foreign ministers. If you are outside the U.S., contact your foreign minister, complain to them, and have them contact the American ambassador. Because if they have a conversation with the American ambassador about this, the American ambassador has to fire off a diplomatic message back to diplomatic cable back to the State Department saying, hey, the foreign minister of Finland is complaining to me about this stock that their citizens are getting screwed on by FINRA apparently. And you get enough of those coming in from Finland, coming in from France, coming in from Canada, from Australia, wherever. Then all of a sudden the State Department goes, what is going on? Why are all these foreign ministers pissed off at something we did in the stock market? I have no idea about this. So they're going to talk to the president. They're going to talk to whoever else. They'll talk to someone at the SEC. They'll be trying to figure out why there is a lot of foreign outrage over something that we didn't even think about, right? You don't want to create a diplomatic row over something like this. So yeah. Patrick Lopez, Houston, if they let Acme squeeze to crazy numbers, do you think they would halt other meme stocks or let them moass rip? I don't think there's enough money in the world to let everything rip at once. It might be something where, they start paying us out. They start liquidating hedge funds. They start taking out bonds or whatever. Fed starts printing money, and they pay us. And at the same time, those collapsed margins result in the forced closing of positions for a whole bunch of other stocks. If that happens and all those other things start rocketing, they might have to just shut the market down. They might just go a bit off. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do something. And it might be something that could result in the stock market being turned off for weeks while they try and have forensic accountants just go through this thing and brainstorm to figure out what can be done. I just noticed the fire flickering on my shirt. I used to have a whole bunch of other lights on here, but they're all dead. That one's dead. There's one up here, it's dead. One down my belly, it's dead. So just the fire one works. I'm okay with that. The other ones didn't really make any sense where they are. Like, why was there a light there? Right? Oh, almost got it in your mouth. So I do like it. Wee! Naked Santa. Look at him. He's ready for you. Space Ghost. What does chill mean? Sorry, just joining on. Chill is a term the DTC uses when a stock is in a weird circumstance. And I think it has usually to do with like a liquidity issue. Someone tweeted out earlier. DTC chill. Chill and freezes. Here we go. Wing. Wing. Done. DTC chill and freezes from 2012. The SEC's Office of Investor Education Advocacy is issuing investor bulletin to help educate investors about the effects of chills and freezes on investors' ability to hold and trade securities. A chill is a limitation of certain services available for a security on deposit at the depository trust company. A freeze, formerly referred to as a global lock, is a complete restriction on all DTC services for a particular security on deposit at DTC. So basically, the chill means you can't register your shares because registration is full. So rather than just saying like, hey, you can't register your shares, they're just like, chill, baby. And we're supposed to infer that that's what that means. Yeah. So what can investors do prior to investing in security? Investors can ask their broker dealer if there are ever been any DTC restrictions placed on a security. Well, thanks, because you guys placed it on the 8th while we're trying to sell these fuckers. This information may affect your decision purchase. Security broker dealer or the broker dealer's compliance department should be able to address the inquiry by checking with its back office or by calling its account managers at DTC. Given that the DTC does not always disclose the reason for a chill or freeze order, a broker dealer may not be able to provide its customers the information as to why the freeze was imposed or if it will be lifted. Investors should also thoroughly research the company and its transfer agent prior to investing in security. We did that there, SEC. So basically, we're on a chill because they looked at the books and they saw hundreds of millions of fake shares in everyone's accounts, and they realized a whole bunch of Europeans registered all their shares before everyone else, and they got all the next bridge. One person who has Interactive Brokers has NextBridge shares in there. I was given notice of, and one German, Marius, who's helping do all the edits for my show, editing the clips. He has NextBridge in his account in Germany. as far as I can tell, no one else has NextBridge in their accounts. I'm very curious as to what it means. And Space Ghost, I meant, what does it mean for retailers? It means you can't register your shares. I think what it means is the service of registration cannot happen because registration's full. I talked with a guy today who registered his shares, and he had to go through a bunch of hoops, and he had to get a party line going with TD and with AST. And eventually the AST lady's like, okay, bud, I need you to just repeat word for word from my mouth out of your mouth to the ear of the person at TD Ameritrade, and we'll get this registered. And he did this like November 9th or 11th, somewhere in there, to get registered. And oh, and then Alan, feel free to discuss what I cannot if you want. I'm just not able to yet. Yeah, so thank you, Alan. And so he managed to get it done before the S1 came out. And my guess is when the S1 was approved, that a lot of these foreign brokerages just went, fuck it, we'll just register everything. And they just took up all the slots. And so when it came time for American brokers to do the same thing, they were too late. And now they're giving everybody the runaround. So you call them and they say, I don't know when you're getting your shares. You're going to have to call the AST and figure that out because, you know, they're the transfer agent. So you call AST and AST says, well, we got our shares. You have to call the DTC and figure out when they're going to distribute them. And you call the DTC, and DTC says, well, the brokers have to request them from us before we can give them out. So you call the broker. The broker says, we're just waiting for instructions from the DTC. We don't have, you know, and you say, hey, how about you use the WIN system and contact the DTC on my behalf? And they go, I don't know what that is. No clue. And why don't you call AST and figure it out? And you're just going to go in this Ouroboros cycle, the snake eating its own tail. And it's just going to keep going and going and going. So, that's where we are. And right now, there's a couple of folks, the most prominent of which is Rosa, who have filed in federal court. Another gentleman filed here in Washington in state court, but it might get kicked to federal court. We'll find out. And we're kind of sitting, going like this, getting angry, firing off letters to senators and the FBI and SEC and anyone else who listen. So, welcome to the game, everybody. Welcome to the game. Okay, did I miss anything else in there? Got that one. Got that one. Okay. All right. We are caught up with those. All right. Hey, I'm only an hour and a half behind the chat because I accidentally set this show up like an hour too early. So there's a lot of chat I'm behind in here. Ooh, might be helpful if you had a clock and seconds in the corner. Oh, that'd be kind of good if I just like hit go. And otherwise, you might have to just wave your hand over the screen and see what time is happening there. William Morgan's got a rah-rah speech going in there. It's now MTLP. Prepare for a fight. Should it come, it's not just for yourself. You're fighting for every retail investor that's been stolen from. You're also fighting for future generations. It's now or never. We have to give it everything we have, or nothing else will ever squeeze. That's as true as it gets there, William. This is the trial balloon. They are pulling out every stop they can to avoid paying us what they owe us, to avoid realizing the liability they created. And so we're definitely at a crossroads. If they can screw us on this, they will screw us on everything. So there's really, you know, this is the Waterloo, man. This is our Waterloo. If we lose this one, then you know, Napoleon takes over. But if we win this one, then Napoleon's done for. So that's where we're going for him, man. BTB Brand William, I've been in the Twitter calls for the past 20 hours. I'm ready to kill something naked short. You guys send me to Twitter calls all the time. I honestly can't do them. Like, yeah, send me a little clip from him. I'll listen to the clip that interests me, but I can't. I can't do it. We need some better orators on some of those Twitter calls so that they can hold my attention span more. Case Chapman, is the DTC chilling MMTLP good thing or bad thing? Doesn't even matter. I think it just signifies that they all messed up. That they don't fucked up. And that's what I think it signifies. And it's just saying, to the brokers, when someone says like, "Hey, can you register with AST?" The broker says, "Can't." It's chilled, man. And it's chilled because you can't register anymore. The registration's full. Right, buddy? Right? Yes.